Hi, Shona. Thanks for being here and thanks for, agreeing to answer some questions about Wesleyan squash. I'm sure this is going to help a lot of student athletes and squash players specifically understand more about Wesleyan and the recruitment process.
Well, my pleasure, Abhinav. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this. I'm very much looking forward to sharing information with the students that you work with.
Awesome. I'm going to jump right into it then. So firstly, Shauna, how do you recruit the squash players for the team and how do you end up recruiting international athletes?
So we do actually recruit quite a number of international athletes, and through people like yourself at NexTrack Consulting, it's really helpful to us that you bring the students to us, in fact, and that's worked out very well. There are other ways that we find students through national governing bodies, and a lot of students find us too. I think there's a little bit of a reputation out there that if you want to play college squash is exciting in the US, and I think internationally a lot of eyes are looking at it as an opportunity. But we also recruit from the US too, and similar methods.
Great, nice to know. And yeah, the nice thing I think in squash, unlike a lot of other sports, is that there's limited colleges. So it's very helpful for student athletes also to kind of reach out to college coaches. And then Wesleyan, being a very good academic school, also ends up attracting a lot of international students. That's what I've seen over the years. Which brings me to my next question, which is, what are the types of academics that one would need to get into Wesleyan as a student athlete? Maybe if you have a reference point from an IB perspective and then SAT or ACT scores as well, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So you're absolutely right. We're very fortunate that squash is a pretty tight-knit community, and there are, 40 or so varsity programs. So it's very manageable when you're looking to, see which school might work for you. And academically, Wesleyan is up there. I would say there's 3 tiers of schools. You have your Ivy League schools, you have your NESCAC, which is New England Small College Athletic Association, conference, and of which Wesleyan is one. There are 11 different schools. Wesleyan, we're looking for students who are mainly getting A's. The occasional B is okay. If we're looking at IBs, anywhere between 36 to 42, 43. 36 is on the slightly lower end, but that has happened. We've definitely admitted students at that level. A levels, yeah, we're definitely looking for A's and B's. And in terms of SATs, ACTs, the SATs are around 1400, 1350 to 1500 is kind of where you're looking at. And in terms of ACTs, I think, your minimum 30, 31, 32, median is around 33. So, but that being said, every student is considered for their own merits, and there could be very compelling aspects to a student that would want them to be admitted at Wesleyan with different academic scores and grades. So I don't want anyone to think they may be out of the running if they don't have exactly those scores. I will always check, and we can do what's called an early read, and we can see how that's going to look. But that's a rough guideline, and I hope that's helpful as a ballpark figure for people.
Absolutely. I would say for the younger ones, it's always nice for them to hear this and know that, because a lot of student athletes think that if we're being recruited, we don't need the academics, the coach can just sort of pull us in. And in some situations, yes, that can be true, but every school works differently and every school is going to be unique in that way. So I think it's very helpful for them to know that, yes, you do need a good academic standard to get into Wesleyan, even if you are a student athlete. So that's super helpful. Great. So moving on, Shauna, my this question could be a little vague, but I just want to know, from your perspective, because you've been at Wesleyan for a while now, what makes Wesleyan special as a college?
So I think what makes Wesleyan special, there are a number of things. Firstly, I see students pursuing excellence no matter what field they're in, whether it's superfluids in physics, it's organic farming, or it's playing squash. And I see that across the campus, and it's very energizing to be around a student body and faculty that are really striving for that. I think as well as that, it is a very collaborative school. So students are not fighting each other for great grades, they're helping each other. And I think to have that community sense that we are all striving for excellence, whatever our field is it's palpable on this campus. And I think it's something that's very much kept me here, and something that I recruit for on the team too. So I know if a student has that mindset, they're going to work on the squash team, and they're going to work in the classroom too, which is also very important to find that fit. So I think those things make Wesleyan very special. I think relative to a school where you may see more of an emphasis on certain areas than others, I think what Wesleyan offers is a pretty balanced student body in terms of their interests. So if you want to pursue theatre, there's a very strong group and faculty that are pursuing and educating in the arts and in theatre. If you want to pursue sciences, the pre-med rate of acceptance is exemplary. If you want to pursue athletics, there's absolutely everything here for any sport that we offer for you to pursue it to the very highest level, including professionally, if that's something somebody would want. So I think that really does make Wesleyan very special. And I think the passion that students bring in what they're engaging in is also very special on this particular campus.
That's amazing. That's really nice to hear. And the few times I've visited Wesleyan, I don't know, I think the way I've looked at it, I've always thought of it as a very happy campus. Anytime I've seen students, they're always happy, even though it is known to be a rigorous school. It's not easy, but like you said, it is a collaborative environment where students are wanting each other to do well rather than trying to compete with each other. So that's really amazing. Brings me to my last question now. For a student athlete, or more specifically a squash student who's coming to Wesleyan, what type of a student athlete or what type of a squash player would fit in at a college like Wesleyan, from an academic perspective, from a athletic perspective, from a culture perspective? Who would enjoy the experience?
So I think something I'm really proud about, and we very much enjoy in terms of our the dynamic of our team, is that students are from literally all over the world. And I think that adds to the educational experience of being on that team and learning from each other. So I'm not looking for a certain type. I think having every type is actually beneficial. And I think in terms of how a student may play squash, I'm a firm believer as a coach of working with that particular student's strengths. I don't coach to a certain system or model that everybody has to play the same. I want to work with what you have and fulfill that potential for you. So, and in terms of, I think character is really important. So we have the opportunity to work together for 4 years. And I want to see a student that really wants to improve. I want to see a student that's prepared to work hard to do that, because there is no shortcut in sport. And I want to see somebody who's prepared to help others grow as well. Despite this being a individual sport, we play as a team. We 99% of the time play as a team. And while I am the coach, we absolutely learn from each other. We push from each other. We need to train with each other. So I want students with those characteristics. And I've seen how much progress you can make in 4 years, and with the right approach, it's, the sky's the limit. There is no limit. So for that reason, I'm looking for that student that really wants it and is hungry to play, and not so much the student that maybe is just looking to cruise for 4 years and you've got to want to improve. They've got to want to work hard, and they want to grow with others. So that's extremely important. And I think those attributes those attributes spill over into the classroom too. What we teach here at the courts in terms of discipline and focus, and how to set goals, how to achieve those goals, how to fulfill, the potential that you would like to. I think if we learn that here, we bring that to the classroom, I see great success in the students that graduate from Wesleyan.
That's great. It sounds like hard work and just wanting to improve in and out of the classroom on the court. That's something that all student athletes, all squash players coming in need to have. So that's amazing to hear, Shona. And this has been so insightful, and I'm sure this is going to help a lot of squash players here in India and hopefully around the world as well. And I just want to thank you once again for doing this and just taking up the time to answer these questions.
My pleasure, Abhinav. I very much appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome. See you, Shona. Thanks.